What is up, Facebook Live? It's Warren's vlog one more time. Back, well, 43, 43rd, 43. Jeez. 43 episodes of this. And today I am reviewing Clash of Champions from last night. Pretty hectic weekend for me. Fun weekend. I work at RAPW. That's a indie promotion based out of Youngstown, where I'm from. I worked there as a referee and then had a party for Clash of Champions yesterday. So I'm basically here to review it. This was the very first Raw pay-per-view, Raw brand exclusive pay-per-view, and I said in my Backlash review that I would compare the two. So keep in mind that when I reviewed Backlash, you can go back and watch that video if you want. That was a 3.2 overall rating. I was asked a question yesterday, actually, at my party, of why I do decimal points. Why not just straight 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Well, I'll give you an example. On this pay-per-view, I had 3 matches that were 3s, okay? I didn't feel the need to give them any decimal points because I felt like the 3 matches that I gave 3s were about a 3 average. But you get cases where, like, you have... I'll rate these matches. I'll pick, let's just say, Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho last night, and Owens and Rollins were both 3s. I may feel like Owens and Rollins was a little bit more exciting, so I may bump it up to like 3.2 or 3.3, or, you know, like for example, Rusev and Reigns was a very slow start. I wanted to give it a 2, but it picked up gradually towards the end of the match, so I gave that a 2.7. So I put the decimal points in there so that all my ratings are not the same number. It's a little bit more exciting for the viewers or whoever may watch this. And it's more exciting for me to do. So that's why I give decimal points instead of just straight whole numbers. But anyway. Alright, Clash of Champions. Let's go. Again, my rating system, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Or if it's, like I said, if it's below a 1, which I have done for some pay-per-views that I've reviewed, like Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 9 was, I think, a 0.2. Or like a 0.4 or something. But yeah. So 5 being the best, 1 or below. Well, 1 being the worst, and anything below a 1 is just unacceptable. What up? No bumps today. So I do these, I'll do these in the order that I wrote them down on Wikipedia. So Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho. This was not a championship match. This was just kind of a match that happened because they were feuding and there was a pay-per-view. And that's kind of the problem with these pay-per-views. Is like, I'm really hoping they get rid of these gimmick-based pay-per-views, because we got like Hell in a Cell, we got TLC, and they need to just get rid of those, because what the problem is like it creates like Hell in a Cell is the next Raw exclusive pay-per-view, so more than likely Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens will probably fight inside the cell. But they're just fighting inside the cell just because it's a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, not because the rivalry has been built up to a Hell in a Cell. Alright, but I digress. Anyway, Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. Both men are phenomenal workers. Not as phenomenal as AJ, but AJ is on SmackDown. Anyway, both men are really good workers. I've seen better from both men. I've seen them have better matches, actually. Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho had a better match on SmackDown, like 2 months ago. And it was better than their match on a pay-per-view. So, pretty average. I was kind of surprised to see Jericho go over, actually. I had picked Sami Zayn. I was wrong there. But pretty average match. I gave that a 3. Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Oh, my God. This match was just boring as all hell. I don't know what it was. Maybe Reigns is so far gone at this point, or his character is so far gone at this point, that it's like, it's hard to get interested in anything that he does. Even him winning the U.S. title didn't really have that much of a feel-good moment. It was like, Roman Reigns is the U.S. champion. And it kind of feels like a demotion, which I know that's kind of the point, because of he got popped for Adderall or whatever he took. So I get the demotion factor of he was in the main event, now he's in the U.S. title, but it's like, Roman Reigns as the U.S. champion just doesn't, like, it doesn't hit hard. It doesn't like, yeah, I can't get behind it. Like, I could get behind Roman Reigns winning the WWE title because of the way that the story was built. But when he just beats Rusev for the U.S. title, especially, and this is the point, this is what really kills me about this. Rusev basically was made to look foolish throughout this entire angle. I mean, Roman Reigns interrupted his wedding celebration with no real provocation for doing it. He just kind of just did it. And he made Lana look like an ass in the process. He made Rusev look incompetent in front of his girl, which is something you just don't do. You don't whoop a dude's ass in front of his woman. And Reigns did that on multiple occasions. SummerSlam was just ridiculous. You can watch my SummerSlam review on that, but that was a no contest. And again, Rusev got his ass whooped in front of his woman after going over on Raw. But again, okay, I'm not going to get into that because that's SummerSlam. You want to go back and watch my rant about that, you can watch my SummerSlam video. But anyway, Rusev was made to look a fool throughout this entire build. Reigns stood tall, or excuse me, Rusev stood tall over Reigns on Raw, but that was after he wrestled Kevin Owens. So that served no purpose. And then we get to the pay-per-view, and Rusev loses the U.S. title, and it's like, Reigns is the U.S. champion. Hooray, I guess. The match was underwhelming. It was a very slow, very, very slow match. It picked up at the end with, Reigns is, and the punch and then the and he's the U.S. champion. And that was pretty much it. That was a 2.7. The women triple threat, Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley. Try to say that 3 times fast. Whenever I see these three interact, I just have it in my mind that it's just going to be this epic, awesome match because of what I saw at WrestleMania. But I have to stop having high expectations, I guess, because this match was a little underwhelming for me. Quite frankly, predictable as well. I didn't think for a second that they would take the belt off of Charlotte at all. The reason why, in my previous video, I might have explained this in my previous video when I was doing my predictions. I didn't think that it would be good for them to play hot potato with the title, considering that Sasha won it, and then Charlotte won it back, and then it's just, are you gonna put it on Sasha again? You're gonna put it on Bayley again, or you're gonna put it on Bayley, who just came to Raw? No. So the safe pick there was for Charlotte to win, and she did. But the match was just kind of just there. I mean, I'm not saying these girls are bad workers. They're not. They're phenomenal workers in the ring. I love watching each and one of them work. But I've seen each and one of these girls individually have better matches with each other and just in general. So, pretty average. I gave that a 3. New Day versus Anderson and Gallows. And, man, this match actually kicked off the show and kicked it off in a hell of a way. 4.2. This match was just, I can't even describe how good this match was. It was hard hitting from bell to bell, just nothing but hard hitting action. And the way it went down, the way the match progressed, it just looked like Anderson and Gallows was just going to mow right through the New Day. But lo and behold, I mean, the New Day found a way to hold on to those titles at least one more night. So, I don't know how many days it's been. I almost can't complain about the New Day being tag champions because they really showed that they just are more than deserving of those titles by the way they handled themselves in the ring last night. It was absolutely great. I enjoyed that match. I was on the edge of my seat the entire, like I said, from bell to bell. Very hard hitting. I give that a 4.2. Those 4 men busted ass last night. And it was almost match of the night. It was almost match of the night until Cesaro and Sheamus. And I think TJ and Kendrick actually followed the tag title match. But I want to talk about Cesaro and Sheamus for a minute because that was a 4.5. That was my highest rated match on the card. And it's so crazy that I rated that match so high because it didn't even have a finish. Like, it was literally a no contest or just a tie. But I gave that match a 4.5 because those two beat the shit out of each other. And as underwhelming as their series has been, in my opinion, that 7th match last night between the two of them was just, I just get giddy thinking about it because It's matches like that, like Cesaro versus Sheamus last night. That is the reason why I watch wrestling. That is why I love wrestling. That's why I participate in wrestling. That's why I am involved in professional wrestling. It's matches like that that get my attention, and that is why I'm a fan. If I was to pick a current match, as to, if I was to take somebody who doesn't watch professional wrestling, I would sit them down and I would have them watch Cesaro and Sheamus from last night. I mean, there's plenty of matches that I could go through the network and sit them down and have them watch. I mean, I don't know. Shawn Michaels Undertaker WrestleMania 25. That just came off the top of my head. But if I was to pick a current match, I would pick Cesaro and Sheamus. Like, I'd sit this guy down. I said, you have to watch this. I know you don't like professional wrestling, but you got to watch Cesaro and Sheamus. It was that good. And I cannot believe that I'm actually giving it a 4.5 considering that it didn't even have a finish. And I'm pretty sure out of all the videos that I've done 43 of them, out of all the pay-per-views that I've reviewed, this has to be the highest rated match the highest rating I have ever given that did not have a finish. And it's still a 4.5. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but Cesaro nearly killed himself last night. He attempted some sort of suicide dive through the ropes and literally power drove himself on the floor. That was disgusting. So that happened. Other than that, it was just a bunch of stiff shots and uppercuts and bro kicks and neutralizers that were kicked out of and Irish curses that were kicked out of and just a bunch of signatures or finishers that was just kicked out of. But I mean, those two work well together, and it's really intriguing my interest now because I want to watch Raw tonight to see how they settle that. Because I don't ever think there's been a best of 7 or a best of 5 that where the last match ended with a no contest. So, like, how do you solve that? My idea, whether they do it or not, well, if they do it, I want fucking royalties for this. But my idea was the match ended with them basically on a concrete floor. Sheamus was able to get up, but he was being helped out while he was struggling to get back at Cesaro. The last shot we saw was Cesaro in the ring basically saying, come on, come on. So, since this is my idea, I think that they should settle that 7th match with a last man standing match. Whether they do it tonight, I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if doing it tonight will be the best idea, but I think that's how they should settle it. Because it's still tied. It's still 3-3. So you can't have, and the thing is, you can't have a regular match. You can't. Because you had 7 straight single matches. Okay? Out of this series, they're both tied at 3. So you got to have a gimmick match to settle it. That's just my thought process on it. I think last man standing would be the way to go with that. Like I said, if they do that, I want royalties. You heard it here first on Warren's vlog. Episode 43. Alright. Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins. I was very happy to see TJ Perkins win that match because my thought process behind it was you have to establish this kid by having him beat a veteran. And I think with Brian Kendrick turning heel, or full-fledged heel last night after headbutting him after the match was over, it's going to create some more intrigue because it's like we're going to see this veteran kind of like on his last leg, sort of. I mean, Brian Kendrick is, 37? And he's just signed a WWE contract, so he needs to prove that he belongs here. And we already have TJ Perkins established as a credible guy by having him beat a veteran. So I'm looking forward to see where that goes. I gave that a 3.5. That was a 4 contested, but I gave it a 3.5 because another part of my rating goes into how the audience responds as well. And it didn't seem like the audience was very responsive. But again, maybe they're just getting used to it. And hey, my dude John is live. My cousin is live. Well, that's okay. I'll watch his live video later. Again, the fans weren't really responsive. as much as I would have thought they would have been. And again, that plays into my rating as well. So I gave that a 3.5. Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox, which was on the free show, which I don't rate, but I am going to talk about. Yeah, Nia Jax won. There's nothing really to talk about there. All right, main event time. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. My prediction was right. I predicted Owens to win. Just the way that he won was like kind of like it just. And the match was good, but the match was, again, I gave this a 3. I gave this a 3 because, like I said, I've seen better work from both men. And last night was just kind of there. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just kind of a match. It was a main event quality match, I will say that. What hurt the rating, at least from my perspective, was it was a tad bit overbooked. Not a lot. I was expecting Triple H to come out and spit water and pedigree. That's what I was expecting, but I didn't get that. And what up, Tom? I'm actually about to wrap it up, but I'm glad you joined me. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. The whole Jericho interference thing was kind of like, well, that's not going to work because like I said, I'm about to wrap the video up. Jericho and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Yeah, the interference from Chris Jericho was like, it didn't need to happen, but I understood why it happened. Stephanie McMahon bringing a referee out at the right time, right when Owens was going for the pop-up powerbomb, seemed a little fishy to me. But it was just enough to where I think Stephanie McMahon is going to deny deliberately doing it. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that tonight. And again, maybe Triple H will show up tonight. Maybe I'm just a mark for Triple H. I don't know. I really was expecting Triple H to show up last night. But Owens retained with sort of help from Stephanie McMahon, but not. I gave that a 3. Overall rating was a 3.4. Now, compared to Backlash. Backlash was a 3.2. This overall rating was a 3.4. Now, the reason why is, I almost called it Night of Champions. Clash of Champions had more matches to pick from for me to rate. Backlash had 6. Night of Champions had 7. So that really played into my ratings because more matches to choose from. Overall, I mean, we're going on my ratings. So 3.4, 3.2. Backlash, which I thought was a pretty good show, but I think what really put Clash of Champions over the top was that tag title match that started it, that just kicked it off. You had a damn good match with Cesaro and Sheamus. And those were like my two big, those were my two big ones. And I think that's what kind of gave Clash of Champions the nudge. But 3.4 overall. Looking forward to see what happens. I'm looking forward to see what happens on Raw tonight, to see how they capitalize off of that. I'm not expecting too much for Raw, actually, now that I think about it, because we got the debate tonight, which I'm not going to talk about politics in this video, but I will say that I would imagine that the debate between Hillary and Trump will probably get more views than Monday Night Raw will. Or I would hope. But anyway. I'm Warren. This has been episode 43. Clash of Champions review. Agree, disagree with my ratings. Make your own ratings. Give me ideas for videos to review. I've not really, or pay-per-views to review. I've not really watched many pay-per-views lately. So, give me some ideas. Old WCW, ECW, WWE. Give me some ideas. Old WWF pay-per-views. If it's a show you want, I'll watch it and I will review it. If it's a show, if you pick a show that I've already done, I'll give you the link to that show. You can go and watch that video. But yo, I'm Warren Freeman. I'm about to get ready to watch Raw tonight, and I will see you later.